AM, Mark Lawrenson, good morning. Thanks a million for taking the call.
That's all right. I'm in Mallorca.
You're in Mallorca, good man.
Yeah.
Sunny?
Hello?
So, is it sunny?
Oh, sorry. It looks like it might be sunny today. Otherwise, I've been building an ark for 2 days. It's been that wet.
Well, good luck with that. We'll keep you around 15 minutes and we'll let you back to your construction there.
Can't wait.
Post-international window, Salah and Mane are back. It's Egypt, Senegal again, part 2, and a patch-up job maybe to be done for Jurgen Klopp. Is there any hangover, do you think, from a Salah point of view at this point, given events again against his old mate?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just one of those things, and it's a bit like sort of, we're all playing for Ireland, but we're playing against Man United, and they had loads of players who were Irish, we had loads of players who were Irish, etc. Now listen, you get on with it, and it is what it is. I don't. If you think about Salah, I don't see him signing a contract at Liverpool, which I think is probably far more important because I just don't see it, basically. I think he'll walk away.
Do you? Wow.
I do. Yeah, they're obviously they've been talking for ages, both parties, but there's obviously not been an agreement so far. Mind you, they'll probably announce something at 10 o'clock this morning and I'll have some more egg on my face. But I just get this feeling with Salah that he will go somewhere else, one last payday, etc. And he thinks he's probably done enough at Liverpool to justify that.
Where would he go?
Good question. Who would be able to take him probably is more of an important issue. Well, he's just going to go to the very, very top, isn't he? So, and would depend. I mean, because he's got about 15 months left on his contract, hasn't he? Yeah. So, and Liverpool would fight tooth and nail in terms of the incoming transfer fee. Who can afford him? Would you go to Paris Saint-Germain? I don't know. You go there for the money, that's for certain. Would you go there for peace of mind, contentment with your football, chance of winning Champions League? And they don't look any near winning the Champions League than they have done for a long time. So I don't really know. I think it would be sorted otherwise. That's the great issue. Liverpool don't want it hanging over them. It's like every time, is Salah going? What's he doing? Is he staying? All that kind of stuff. And if they really wanted to do the deal, I think they would have done it.
Other than the passage of time, as you've mentioned, is there something else that you've seen or anything that you've heard that would suggest that this is now more likely than ever that he won't sign that deal?
No, not really. Well, just one or two rumours. And I mean, everybody hears rumours, but I just feel that if you look at the way Liverpool have been under Klopp in terms of transfers in, new contracts, they're announced. They're just like, oh, Jordan Henderson signed a new contract. Well, nobody knew he was negotiating one, and they've been very, very good at doing that and sorting out players. Van Dijk was just, he signed a new contract that nobody knew he was even, again, negotiating one. So I just feel that maybe Liverpool think that the money they were going to have to pay him is far too much. But then, of course, who do you get as replacement? Or do they think because of Diaz coming in, etc., that they've got enough up there up front? So, yeah, it's more of a feeling. I don't know. There's something not quite right about it. I feel anyway.
And to be honest, I'm surprised to have heard you say that, Mark. Is there? If you're driving the decision on the Liverpool side, like short of signing him up and they're accepting, let's say, that's not going to happen, do you try and get rid of him at the end of the season, obviously, and cash in, or do you keep him? Do you think there's a value in almost keeping him and forgoing that transfer fee? Because he, like you say, 15 months, he's 31 years old at that time. Maybe it's a law of diminishing returns. So yeah, which play do you go for?
Well, yeah, exactly. I'll let the manager sort that out. But I think if you know that the player's going to walk away, but he's got 15 months, you'd want to get some money in for him, surely. And I know you say, well, he'll score goals, which he will, but it's not quite the same. When a player knows that he's going, maybe it's only 5% less, but that 5%, somebody like Salah in terms of attitude and the way he's playing is a massive, massive thing. And I'd be in the camp of, okay, so you're going to go, fine, thanks very much, but we'll do a deal with somebody in from probably July the 1st, isn't it? Contracts, yeah. So that was the start of his last year, basically, from July the 1st.
Is that on the basis of like we cope past Torres, we cope post Suarez, that
Coutinho?
Coutinho, yeah, we can cope with this.
Yeah, I think it is. I just get the feeling that it'll be like a line in the sand with Liverpool. They say, okay, we're not going to accede to your demands, and thanks but no thanks, and off you go, and we'll get some money and look elsewhere. I mean, they've been really, really good. As we, every time I come on here, I bang on about this recruitment thing, but their recruitment's been outstanding, Liverpool, if you really look at it. And go on. Sorry, no, it just struck me. I wondered, just on the basis of bringing somebody in, and obviously the obvious point is that actually maybe they're very well catered with the players that they already have there. If you remove Salah from that, obviously there's the goals, right? But if you remove Salah from that current Liverpool team this season, obviously somebody else starts. Obviously they score goals as well. If you remove them from that team, are they still competing for the league? No, they aren't. So, but I mean, they've got their view will be if he is deciding to, their view will be that he'll finish the season really, really strongly. But as opposed to said to you before about the start of the new season, then it's different. It's completely different when you know that you're going. I mean, Chelsea, in fairness, of one or two are obviously going to go, Christensen and one or two others whose contracts are up, and they've actually been playing really, really well. But it's just a feeling that I have. Nobody said, hey, by the way, have you heard? I don't think he's going to sign a contract or whatever. I just have this feeling that he might just say, thanks, but no thanks, because I'd be very, very, very surprised if Liverpool are paying him 450 grand a week. I really would. Because that sets a precedent as well. I mean, maybe Man City could afford that, but Liverpool then, and looking at the team and thinking, crikey, all the big stars are going to be knocking on the door and say, well, hold on a minute, he's on 450 and I'm only on 275, whatever. I think it causes a lot of problems internally. Is that not just like a man management situation where you sit down and go, listen, this guy, he's about to become he's behind Owen and Fowler, isn't he? Just behind them in terms of goals, whatever. Do you not just sit down and go, listen, I'm sorry, look at this look at his numbers. Like is that not at that level? Yeah, absolutely. No, he's been brilliant. From the first day he walked into the football club. Yeah. And I remember seeing him playing in Switzerland many years ago, and he was lightning quick, but he didn't look, he didn't really know what he was doing in many, many ways. And he's grown up so quickly with the moves that he's had. He's been brilliant for Liverpool. Absolutely, totally brilliant. I don't think I would say I've never met him, but I'm not quite sure at the agent, because every time there seems to be a meeting, he tweets about something or and I don't get it. I mean, that worries me, something like that as well, is if you were the agent, you just keep your mouth shut and not say anything to anybody. So it's just a gut feeling that I've got that I don't think he'll sign a new contract. You don't want to end up in a Harry Maguire situation either, where he's kind of hanging around and sort of half-heartedly scoring about 30 goals a season. Yeah. Only 39. Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, look, he's very much in control of the situation, isn't he, basically? This is the weekend that Liverpool finally get their noses in front, Mark, at least for a little while. Yeah, hopefully. Obviously, Watford tomorrow, isn't it? So that will be good. And we're City are at Burnley, aren't they? Which we know is difficult, but it's not as difficult as it used to be, as we've seen this year. They've lost quite a few games at home as well, Burnley. But yeah, so it will be interesting if and when Liverpool turn Watford over, just to see not City's result, but the way that they play. Because as I've been banging on regular on the tee about this, it's much easier chasing than being chased, and Liverpool are still chasing at the moment. But as I say, come tomorrow afternoon, they could be up there. So we'll wait and see what City react and how they react to it.
Obviously, then there's midweek football for the following couple of weeks. I guess the market would tell us that Manchester City and Liverpool will be progressing from this round as well, so they'll probably have another couple of fixtures after that. Which squad do you think is better placed to actually sustain what's going to happen over the next month?
Oh, I think, you know what, and I'm not dipping out of this, it's neck and neck between the two. Really seriously is. I mean, they've both got outstanding squads. Maybe Liverpool are a little bit better defensively, I would argue at the moment. But you know, it's like a hair's breadth away, isn't it? Basically, between the two of them. I mean, who would you take? You'd be up all night thinking about if, you know, even a thing like, you know, make a team out of the two teams. I mean, crikey, you'd be scratching your head.
Yeah, does it, like, are Manchester City and the kind of, I guess they're relying on a tighter knit group of players. Granted, they still have plenty of depth, and it's, you know, we haven't gone to 5 subs a game just yet. Like, it's definitely a tighter bunch of players that they rely on than Liverpool. They've got a much more secure core, I guess. Whereas Liverpool, when they're flipping between competitions, it seems that no matter what sort of lineup they go with, they can make 4 or 5 changes, and it's so strong. Yeah, you could argue that, absolutely. But you know. So I'm looking at City at the moment, and the game at Crystal Palace, where obviously they wanted to win, ended up with a draw, didn't make a substitution. I think that was just a strange one, you know. And you're kind of thinking, what's all that about? And I'm looking at Sterling, and he's generally not started many games lately, I think. And then I'm just wondering whether Pep's had a masterstroke, which is keep him out a little bit, keep him out, get him hungry, and then, you know, the last quarter of the season, whatever, bang, he's going to start going on the rampage, which he can do. So look, we'll just wait and see. But I would rather be in City's position than Liverpool, even if it's only a point in front or whatever it is.
Well, if you listen to Gary Neville, he's talking about Liverpool being dangerous, isn't he? He's saying that they could do something special here. He's talking about multi-trophy winning season. You're not going to argue with that, Mark?
I think he was ill. I think he was ill. Gary Neville praising Liverpool. You're joking, aren't you?
We've the odd situation of Gary Neville saying that Liverpool are going to do something special, and you're like, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Well, no. Listen, I'm not so sure because I've been in that position before, and you just need a bad day. You know, you just need one bad day, but in the cups especially, and you're out. So everybody seems to think that, you know, we turned up every year and like, yeah, we're going to win this and we're going to win that, and it's. No team's like that. No team just goes, well, you know, we're going to win the Champions League, because we all know what football's like. We know what loss of form's like, injuries, you know, beaten by a fluke goal, refereeing decision, VAR, whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love them to Liverpool to win 04. I would think it would be a fantastic achievement, and no one's ever done it before, of course.
The international break, of course, gave us a bit of a break from the usual narrative. The constant slamming of Harry Maguire, we thought, was not going to become a fixture of the international break whatsoever, but the England fans outdid themselves on this occasion, booing Harry Maguire. Very strange situation. Have you ever seen that sort of club form carry into the relationship between a player and a fan on the international stage?
No. I've never. You know, I mean, obviously, like anybody, you know, England have 1 or 2 dolts in terms of fans, you know, people who've obviously left the villages, the idiots. But I think it's probably just the way that people are nowadays, where they know that they can have a voice. But look, Harry Maguire is a good player. He's not a top player, but he's a good player. You know, and if you said, he's available on a free, a lot of the top teams would still take Harry Maguire. So it's one of those, isn't it? And I mean, Gareth Southgate's trying to defend him, but I think the more you try and defend them, basically, the worse it becomes. I think just ignore them. Just ignore. It's people who don't understand the game, to be quite honest with you.
Would a lot of the top teams take Harry Maguire?
Yeah. I honestly think that they would. Doesn't mean you have to pick him every week and play him, but yeah, definitely. He's just not the quickest. So, but it's just the fact that, you know, if you've got someone alongside him who's quick, because I tell you what, he's big and he's strong and he heads it and he can play. And he's not particularly had a good time. And every time, I mean, can you imagine that every time you play at home even, and as soon as you get the ball or make the slightest mistake, that murmur comes around like, ooh, here we go. And it's honestly, it's the worst possible thing for any player, because everybody who plays at that level, you have to have confidence both in yourself and obviously everyone else in the team around you. And it's a tough thing for him to be brutally honest. And he must, before every game, thinking, what am I going to get today? And while he might, because you look at him, he's a big old piece of kit, and you think, he's obviously very, very strong, but you have no idea what's happening between the ears, do you?
Yeah, it's true. And there's definitely been a loss of confidence. Like, it's just, I think there's also been kind of a stylistic element to this, the way football's gone. Like, if you talk about the top teams, maybe the qualities are there, but that pace thing is just so important at the moment. Like, I mean, Liverpool have been relying on their pace to get themselves out of holes. It's exactly how they've been able to get by playing the way they play. Manchester City are the same. I think even if you look at some of the other teams in and around there, I mean, Chelsea, I guess you could point to Thiago Silva as somebody who they've utilised, who they've managed to make up for a lack of pace at times. But even Arsenal have moved towards a situation where it's younger, quicker centre backs. It feels that not only is he having a bad time, he's also existing in a time in football which just isn't great for him.
No, absolutely, most definitely. And the thing about having pace in that position is you can recover your mistakes. I mean, the problem with Harry Maguire is if somebody squares him up, and they'll run away from him because he's big and he's a little bit slow to turn. But that's why at this level, your centre backs have to have real pace. I mean, you look at Liverpool, I mean, even, they don't chase many games anymore because they're generally in control. But I've seen them in games where they just go, when they're going forward, they go, we have 2 against 2 at the back. And that whole thing of like having another person in front of them, they just go, no, forget about that. We'll back like Van Dijk and Matip because they've got pace to burn. And all right, if they make a mistake, they make a mistake. But you can't really do that with Manchester United. And by the way, all his mates who played alongside him haven't exactly been sparkling, have they?
Plenty of them.
Plenty, exactly.
Yeah, pleasure as always. Enjoy the sun.
And me, we'll try.
Good man. Mark Lawrenson on the line there from Mallorca.